And I think that's number one. It's just like you have to pick a company that has an exploding market. And most importantly is timing. Is the market about to explode now? Let's take a couple examples. Let's look at Zoom and Slack. Two examples recently, phenomenal. Like Zoom is one of the best IPOs like of all time. Slack, I mean, incredible IPO. Messaging, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, I remember the days in '95 when we were using ICQ. I don't know if you use ICQ, right? I still remember my ICQ number, right? Like we were messaging. Slack versus ICQ or later, MS Messenger is honestly not that different. And then there was Skype in the middle, right? So why is it so different? Do I really believe that like the UI is so amazing that that's the reason? Like, okay, maybe, but I don't know if that's like a $20 billion difference. It's just that somewhere in the B2B world in around 2014, the market tipped. There was a need in the market for more dynamic communications because the pain of email was just too high for that use case. And IT, CIOs started, believing in it. And that's when it tipped. And in that market, within the enterprise messaging market, basically tipped in 2014 to 16, I would say. And in those 2 years, the winner, it's a winner's take all market. There's good research that shows that when a category tips, you get a flood of competitors. And then within 2 years, 18 to 24 months, the leader ends up taking, I think 78, something like that, call it 80% market share. But the market, if the market is huge, like you can go to a big market and you still be okay, right? Remember there's a company called Jive.
Right.
Remember there's Yammer. Remember there was Chatter, like there's still all those still okay. But if you want to get the $20 billion market cap that Slack got, you have to be the winner during that window when the market's ready to tip. And I would say the same thing about video conferencing. Right? Zoom, like this is nothing new. I mean, that's how my wife and I developed our relationship, is over video conferencing, over instant AOL, another messaging tool. You look, somewhere between 2015 to 17, maybe even later, was when the need really, really tipped, and now you start to see Zoom taking off. And you and I now are doing this podcast, and use it all the time. Same thing with file storage. Dropbox, right, is generating $1.4 billion in recurring revenue for file sharing.
Fastest company to $1 billion for a SaaS business ever. Is that right? ARR.
That's right. And look, they didn't invent file storage. I remember when I first used Yahoo in 1995. I got to upload a file into Yahoo and then download it when I was in the library. It was like life changing. It was amazing. So it's not like new. Cloud storage isn't new. It's just that the market tipped at that point where people are starting to move away from servers. And in 2013 to 14 was when mobile adoption in the enterprise hit a certain rate. And that's when you needed the cloud storage, because you can't, on the mobile, you can't access files anyway. So that's why it tipped. So anyways, number one, you got to pick a huge market. And most importantly, you got to join that market right before the market tips. And so you have to make a call. Right? I joined Asana when people were like, what is this project management thing? I don't know what it is. Like Forrester and Gartner haven't written reports on it yet. But I asked the most progressive CIOs, what's next? They're like, well, I just put in Slack. And now all my work is fragmented, even in more places than before. I need something to pull it back together. So I'm going to look into this project management, work management space. And I'm like, oh, interesting. So I developed this hypothesis that like the capstone of the new modern collaboration stack is going to be something like Asana that pulls things back together, at least for the things that really, really matter to a company, right? And then I'm seeing that market. We are in the heart of the race right now, that 18, 24 month window. So that's number one. Number two is obviously is what people generally look for, was the technology, right? If this market is going to tip, does this company have the right technology to win? And this is very much a venture thing where you can decide about, you have to make some calls on the architecture, how they built it, what is the, what are customers saying about the product? right? That's when you get some feedback. So the second thing is like, does this company have the right product to win the market? Because I do think, especially in B2B now, SaaS, more and more it's dictated by the end users and what they use. So you gotta make sure that you're the one that people are gonna pick. And then the last part is, do you have the right team? Does it have the person? Is this company on the right team that you're gonna back? And that's that's probably the number one thing that, besides the size of the market, that venture capitalists like bet on, is the people. Because early stage, you don't really have much of a business yet, or even the product. And I think in terms of picking companies to join, same thing, right? Like you join most people, let's say you join a Series C company, like what is the management team? What are the dynamics? What are when things go south, which always happens, how does that management team work together to solve them? Or is there finger pointing? 90% of the time, it's finger pointing. 90% of the time, sales says marketing to generate enough leads. Well, no, let me start. Customer success and support says sales is closing crappy deals. Sales says, well, what do you expect? Marketing is driving me bad leads. Marketing goes, well, what do you expect? Our product is missing all the stuff. Product goes, well, that's because design is a bottleneck and it's not shipping. We're not shipping fast enough because design's not ready enough. Design's like, well, you know what? Like, it's not my fault. I can't hire enough designers. Is recruiting, right? Recruiting. I mean, it just goes on, and that, I tell you, that's, when I say 9 out of 10, I think it's 9.8 out of 10. So you got to find the critical piece. And I made this mistake myself before Dropbox. I joined a company that I probably shouldn't have. So a lot of people look at the company profile and the executives and where they came from. Oh, this person was at Google for 20 years. Well, you know what? So have like 10,000 other people, right? Or they haven't seen the right stage that's relevant for your company. Finding the right team that you think you can bank on to get through the hard times is really, really important. Don't just look at the profile.